movement. It is called Time's Up. It is bringing more than 300 Hollywood women together to help people across all industries fight sexual harassment in the workplace. We're going to speak with two of the founders in a moment, but first.
In the past months, more and more sexual harassment allegations throughout Hollywood and other industries have been brought into the light by the brave women and men who choose to speak up. The impossible amount of harassment cases got the Time's Up movement rolling.
The Time's Up movement, along with the Me Too movement, created by Tarana Burke back in 2006, has trended on social media and other platforms, aiming to raise awareness as well as money for the Time's Up Legal Defense Fund. This legal fund will provide legal support for victims of sexual harassment in the workplace or similar actions that make them feel uncomfortable. Together, the women of Time's Up are on a mission to eradicate the systemic inequality and injustice women and men have had to face years on end.
Nearly half of working women in the U.S. say they have experienced sexual harassment in the workplace. 25% and more of the sexual harassment charges filed with the EEOC in the past decade came from industries with service sector workers. On top of that, white non-Hispanic women are only being paid 81 cents on the dollar compared to their white non-Hispanic male counterparts. Asian women are paid 88 cents on the dollar, while black and Hispanic women are only paid 65 and 59 cents, respectively. Not only is there an unjustly large wage gap between men and women, but women of color are being paid less than their white female coworkers. These are all issues the Time's Up movement aims to address.
Women in Hollywood have chosen to use their platforms to amplify the Time's Up movement, from social media hashtag to red carpet appearances. Actresses like Reese Witherspoon and Emma Watson have shown solidarity to women across industries worldwide. Recently, the vast majority of guests attending the Golden Globes were black, and Time's Up pins to show support for the cause. And at the Grammys, white roses were supportive symbols worn by many artists.
Why are you wearing black tonight?
In solidarity. It makes me really emotional, actually, thinking about the fact that this movement that we've put together is across industries, it's across communities, it's across spaces. It's such a show that this issue doesn't just affect women in Hollywood. This issue is affecting women everywhere, in every country around the world. It is global, it is systemic, it is structural, and we're all joining together in that tonight to amplify this message.
How can you sum up the Time's Up movement purpose?
We all deserve to be comfortable all the time.
Female presenters at the Golden Globes this year made a point to call out the male-dominated nominations. Natalie Portman announced her category, Best Director, in an exposing manner.
Here are the all-male nominees.
Barbra Streisand later went on to emphasize the fact that since her win of Best Director 30 years ago, no woman has won in that category.
The only woman to get the Best Director award. And you know, that was 1984? That was 34 years ago? Folks, time's up!
These are just some of the women who brought much needed attention to the Time's Up movement, both to viewers at home and A-listers in the audience.
What can our generation do to eradicate sexual harassment in the workplace?
Maybe for the men to stop talking about the women's outfits and catcalling them and maybe keeping their hands to themselves.
What's your stance on the Time's Up movement?
I mean, I'm glad that there's an actual movement. I feel like it's more of a trend now rather than actually seeking social change.
More and more women are being sexually harassed, not just in the typical workplace, but also in government positions. The hashtag MeToo is being used by women that are standing up and speaking out to share their stories on platforms such as Twitter to show others they aren't alone. The large number of people tweeting this shows a sense of the magnitude of the sexual harassment problem.
Because of the Me Too movement, the Golden Globes fashion statements and all of these sexual harassment reports that are not just happening at work, but in our social settings, the streets, even sometimes at home. There is a bill that has been introduced to the government that will require all employees to take a mandatory anti-sexual harassment training course. People of Time's Up hope that this will decrease sexual harassment if it is passed, and that it will make it easier for victims to receive legal representation. The bill is not just for women, but for people of all genders that have experienced sexual harassment.
With the Times Up movement growing day by day,
Causing change through bills, gowns, tuxes, essays, and tweets.
We hope that eventually we can eliminate sexual harassment from all industries worldwide.